What a lovely morning. So I've driven out today to try my new Lee Super Stopper filter, which I bought roughly 2 months ago. I haven't tested it all that much yet, but I've been on one trip. So this is not the first time I'm using the filter, so I have some experience with it. And all in all, it works really, really, really well. I love it. In fact, this is probably one of the biggest creeks where I live, around where I live. It's not massive, but it's all I've got. And if you're gonna stop something, you better make sure that the things you are stopping has some movement in it, because otherwise it will just be like an ordinary picture if you're using the Super Stopper. It's June 1st. It's officially the first summer day of the year, and things are looking my way. From what I can see, it looks to be a beautiful day. So for my first shot, I think I'm going to use the wide angle lens. And I bought a lens filter adapter for 52 millimeters. So this should fit on the lens. I haven't tested it yet. First time I'm doing a wide angle Super Stopper shot. Because of the way the shadows are falling here, and I don't want shadows in my shot, I need to get across this little creek here over to that little dry spot there. So I need to jump over, and I'm gonna do the shot from over there, and then we'll see how it turns out. So I've set up, and I'm gonna do my first picture of the day. I forgot my shutter cable. So this is a 15 stop filter, and I have exposed it to 125 per second. That gives me an exposure window for approximately 4 minutes. So let's try it out. I've got it on bulk mode, and here we go. All right, we're nearing the 4 minute time, 4 minute exposure time. Let's try it right now. And we have a long shutter reduction ongoing on the camera. And that is a great feature, because what that does, the long shutter reduction thing, is that it removes all the dead pixels from your image. Because when you take a photograph that lasts a long time, like 4 minutes, like we just did now, there are bound to be some overheated pixels. And what the long shutter reduction does is that it removes those overheated pixels, those red or white dots. So for a 4 minute exposure, you can kind of estimate 4 minutes taking the picture and 4 minutes removing all the heated pixels. So one image today for me takes 8 minutes, and that's a long time to wait. So the long shutter is almost done, and I'm quite excited to see how it turned out. Let's see. Oh, that looks great. That looks great indeed. First shot of the day, and I am very pleased. So I'm going to turn my camera around and do one more downwards into the waterfall, and then we're going to move a bit further down, and I'm going to do one picture going upwards. I'm going to set up now. So there's a bit more light down this way, so I need to put the shutter speed at 250, which gives me a 2 minute exposure time. So this won't take as long. So here we go, another one. All right, picture taken. So now we're waiting for the long shutter noise reduction to finish up. I can talk a bit on how you're setting up a shot with a super stopper filter. It's a 15 stop filter which blocks out a lot of light, and that means you have to do a pretty long exposure even in direct sunlight. So this is almost straight at the sun, and I need to do a 2-minute exposure time. So when you're using long exposure times, you need to use a shutter cable in order to reduce movement in the camera, which is extremely important. So use a shutter cable and take your time setting it up. Don't rush it, you're gonna make mistakes. Find your frame, do the focus, set everything up, then slide the filter down, put it in bulk mode, and just take the picture, and then you wait. Do not rush it. If you don't get it the first time, just try again. Another one in the can. Let's move downstairs. Hopefully I won't fall into this creek. That would be very bad. I am heading down to the place where I'm gonna set up the camera. Need to check. Maybe I'll do 2 pictures here. One from here and one from down there. And I'm gonna use the wide angle in both shots, I think, because it's a wide creek. So I put it pretty low down to the creek. I'm gonna do a 4-minute exposure, just like up there. So we should be good to go. So in 8 minutes in 8 minutes all right, I'll see you in 8 minutes, I suppose. One important thing I forgot to mention: when you're using the stopper, make sure you put the camera in manual focus. That's very important, otherwise you won't get anything out of it. Set up the picture, slide it down, and take it into bulk mode, and set your timer and click away. Alright? So I'm gonna set my timer for 4 minutes now, and I'll see you in 8. So while I'm waiting for the long shutter noise reduction, I moved a bit down further and I found my last spot. I think I'm gonna drop the bit longer lens. I'm setting up right where I am now, and I'm doing portrait mode straight in with my other lens. So I'm just gonna head up and check my little noise reduction scheme going on up here, and we'll see how my picture turned out. All right, exciting times. It looks a bit underexposed, but I'll drag it up in post, I guess. All right, so I'm all set. I'm shooting at f4 at 125 of a second, which gives me an exposure time of 4 minutes, give or take. I really like this spot. This is the first time I'm here taking pictures with a super stopper, so I'm really glad it worked as well as it has so far. I'm still taking the last picture. I've got about 3 minutes left on that. It stands right over there. I'm not sure if you can see it. Just wanted to stop and talk a bit about how nice it is to shoot at that slow pace. Now, if each picture takes about 8 minutes to take, you just sit and wait and you enjoy the water running and the sounds and the birds landing. It's something rare, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, to be honest. So that's the number thing I like with the Super Stopper, is that it slows it all down. 8 minutes here, 8 minutes there. You don't rush. You don't take a lot of pictures. You spend a lot of time setting up, getting to know the location, and then if you decide to take the picture, you kind of commit 10 minutes to it. So you need to be sure that you really want that picture. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. It slows down the time, which I think is really, really nice. At least on days like this, where the sun is warm and it's almost summer, and this is just, it's a fantastic day. The final picture of the day is ready in 20 seconds, and I'm thinking I might end up liking this the most. So I'm really hoping it turns out well. Been waiting 8 minutes now, and it looks really nice. I absolutely love it. So, final thoughts on the Super Stopper filter from Lee. What I like about it is that it makes you think about each picture you take, and that kind of helps to hone your senses. You gotta make sure you have the right angle, the right settings, the right aesthetics. Kind of everything needs to be prepared and well thought out before you take the image, which I like. The Super Stopper gives me a reason to stop and see before I commit to the image. I also use an app to calculate my exposure times, but when you've used it a couple of times, it just sticks in your head, like 125 equals 4 minutes, 250 equals 2 minutes. So set it up, slide it down, put it in bulk mode and play with it. Alright, now that that's out of the way, I would just like to say thank you all for watching, and I hope I'll see you next week. And if you're new, like and subscribe, and take care of each other, be kind, and I'll see you in a week.